I was the only trauma psychologist at the level one trauma center in New Orleans. That meant I was doing bedside trauma work with survivors of gun violence, car wrecks, you name it, and completely alone. At the same time, I had recently started dating my now husband, and right before his eyes, I changed. I was suddenly terrified and on edge all the time, not of the relationship, but of everything else. I couldn't stop imagining him dying in a car crash. I was convinced I was going to get shot at my favorite festival in the French Quarter. And that fear, that secondary traumatic stress, it came with me everywhere, into patient rooms, into my home, for sure into my body. And it wasn't until he emailed me a Google search of how to support my trauma therapist girlfriend. He's a jazz musician, by the way, that things were able to start shifting for me. That is, after I got over being pissed off that he had called me out. Oh, God. Knowing that he saw me, though, it helped me realize that I wasn't broken, that I was burnt out, and I was holding it all alone. Now, I know that you're probably not working at a level one trauma center, but I bet you know what it's like to feel numb in session, to second guess the words coming out of your mouth, to wonder why this work you care about so deeply suddenly feels so far away. And I want you to hear this. You're not failing, you're not weak, and you're definitely not broken. Hi, by the way, I'm Jenny Hughes, trauma psychologist and founder of the Brave Trauma Therapist Collective. And I help trauma therapists reconnect with themselves, their clients, and their work, especially when it feels like disconnection is the only way to get through the day. And we all know disconnection because it's one of the many ways that we work really hard to protect ourselves in this work. Starting sessions a few minutes late to delay the dread, sticking to the script so we don't have to feel too much, believing we can leave work at work like we're machines and not humans. I've done it all. And for a while, those strategies help me survive, as they do, right? Until they don't. And the moment you realize your coping strategies are failing you is really fucking scary because it's often in that moment when you also realize how cut off you've become from your clients, your relationships, and maybe even your own internal sense of safety. And honestly, that moment of reality flips you into a state of such high survival mode that you can easily armor up even more. But what if the answer was removing that armor instead? I know you're saying, but if I let go of that structure, that tight grip, how am I going to protect myself? I get it. That grip feels safe, but it's not actually protection. It's just disconnection. And it's literally proving to your brain and body every single moment that your work is dangerous, that you need to be in survival mode all the time, lid flipping. But listen to me here. Please come here. Listen. Letting go of some or maybe even all of your armor doesn't mean falling apart in session. It means softening enough to stay present with yourself while you're present with your client. It means noticing your breath again, letting a moment of joy land in your nervous system, feeling like you're finally in the room and not floating right above it. But the scariest part about softening, it challenges everything you've believed about what makes you a good therapist. For me, it was believing that being self sufficient and independent is what made me strong, that asking for help meant I wasn't cut out for this work. But holding it all together isn't the same as being well. Letting go of that armor, it doesn't make you fragile. It makes you human. And being human is what protects you in the long run and makes you such a damn good trauma therapist. Okay, so how the hell do you start doing this, right? Well, inside of Brave, one of the practices that we use a lot is one that we call Watch the Fire. It comes from this book, Reducing Secondary Traumatic Stress by Brian Miller. And it's a really simple visualization that you can use after a session or even in the moment after you've practiced it enough when you're starting to feel overwhelmed, shut down, or like something's gotten stuck inside of you. Here's the idea: we have tough moments with our clients, and our brain and body react. It goes into our own natural survival mode. And when this happens, only you know what your internal signs and signals are. And so instead of realizing it's happening and pushing that stuff away, imagine the reaction, emotion, or energy in response to this moment with your client is a fire. Okay. It's not a fire you have to put out, though. It's not something dangerous, but something you can stand beside and watch. Imagine your favorite campfire growing up. And now your only job as a trauma therapist with this emotion and energy inside is to observe the fire. What does this fire, that energy, that emotion feel like in your body? What's the texture? The temperature of the heat, how intense is it? How is it moving? Can you let it be there without reacting, without trying to fix it, without running from it? Because that's what helps it just burn out naturally without spreading, without adding more fuel to the fire. Okay. You don't need to effort your way through this process, nor do you need to avoid it. Noticing it gives your brain and body the attention they're calling for. When you let yourself notice what's actually happening without judgment to the best of your ability, you're allowing your nervous system to move all the way through the beginning, middle, and end of the empathic resonance you just experienced with your dear client. That's how we metabolize this work. That's how we safely take off our armor and stay human in it. Okay, so just take a second and check in. This feels very opposite to what we're trained to do, what we're told is the best way to deal with this stuff. But maybe is your jaw a little softer? Or did your shoulders drop even just a tiny bit? Those little tiny changes are what reconnection feels like. Or maybe the opposite or the expected happened and you tightened. That's okay too, because your body is telling you, yep, we got stuff to metabolize. And now you have a skill to do that. And if you want to take a dip your toe in approach to support, I'd love to have you inside of the Brave Trauma Therapist Collective. It's a space where you can stop holding it all together and start feeling supported, connected, and human again. And a lot of us are looking for a self paced first step. And that's why I have my Taming Vicarious Trauma Masterclass. It's just $9 and it'll help you understand how vicarious trauma shows up in your body so you can use the Watch the Fire exercise and learn other ways to start working with it instead of around it. You're going to find both links in the description. And please be sure to comment, like, share, subscribe, all the things. And no matter what, please know, hear me, you are not broken. You might be burned out, and you deserve support too.